If you're trying to find painter Laura Nugent around town during most of the year, well, good luck.
Chances are she's out on the art show circuit. She does like 18 to 20 exhibitions a year.
But during the winter months, Laura holes up in her studio in Merriam to regroup and make new work. Thanks to producer videographer Julie Denechet, we can peek in on Laura's creative process.
Embracing the accident is part of painting. Part of making a painting that you love in the end, too, is acknowledging that you don't know how all of it happened. Like you came down to the studio the next day and thought, wow, I didn't do all that, you know?
Geometry or geometric painting, everybody thinks that they can do that. And so inherently it looks easy. But again, the trick is how does the artist put their own individual spin on abstraction, and how do we lift that up out of the mundane?
What I'm really doing is going back in and only bringing out the things that I want to be the strongest accents. You know, either the brightest lights or the darkest darks. So until that point happens, I just kind of play this game where I go back and forth. You change one thing and you got to change so many other things in paintings like these. That's why half the abstract expressionists went crazy. There's nothing anchoring them. I can definitely see why there were artists who were tortured. They were tortured by their work because they spent so much time looking at it and thinking about it and probably doubting, what was the substance behind this? And ultimately, it really needs to be, the substance is that this is your expression, this is what your interests are. I am the first viewer of my work. And so those decisions, they should be uncomfortable, and they should be things that I think about a lot before I decide that they're finished.
That's what every artist wants to be, is an emerging artist, regardless of their age. You want to be repositioning or transforming continuously. And so that's also the challenge, is to not get caught in a situation in our own comfort zone and become a producer of some kind of commodity. But we need to be continually emerging, and Nugent's doing that.
I still feel like every painting is potentially a game changer. Every painting that I make is potentially a new direction, and I think it's important for me to kind of contain that and see through some of those ideas without shifting too quickly. I think it's part of being older, is not giving into impulsivity as much as being willing to explore something over the course of years. Sometimes it's hard when you have to let go of very small moments that you think are what's so great about a painting, and trying to hold on to those moments. You can't move forward with it, and so the best thing you can do is obscure those things and just forget that they were there. It's like a little triumph that you thought, well, that was a very nice little section of painting there, but unfortunately it has to take one for the team and go away.
Like in most abstraction, the main challenge is to do the most with the least amount of work, to find some economical way to do this. And Laura's work they're becoming more lush at the same time that they're becoming more spare.
In a lot of ways, that this work is about the passage of time for me. I think in particular where I am in my life, that I am feeling a much greater sense of urgency that I was told I would feel at this point when I was much younger. And I get it now. I get the idea of committing to something as simple as a line and getting it to where I want it to be, and that being what's important to me about that painting. And I really want people to realize that the imperfection that they may or may not detect right away is mine.
An exhibition of new and recent works by Laura Nugent is on display at Michael Smith's in the Crossroads through March 31st.